Hi, my name is Christine, and I'm going to be presenting on the Early Years in High School Language and Literacy Kits. This presentation was developed by Marlene Lenton and myself, Christine Crawford. So the early years goal. In early years, the goal is to support teachers in their planning and instruction that includes authentic and meaningful activities in early reading development using texts and activities. High school purpose and goals. Literacy and vocabulary are critical skills for building self-confidence in teens both in and out of the classroom. If students are proficient readers and possess a rich vocabulary, it helps them think critically, problem solve, and encourages them to become leaders. The project focuses on fun and creative language and literacy activities to be used in high school classrooms. The goal of this kit is to build students' oral vocabulary, meet the requirements of ELA curricular outcomes, and to build students' confidence through engaging and motivating activities. Literacy components identified in early years and high school kits. The activities are designed to motivate students and build confidence in the 6 strands of ELA. The 6 strands are reading, writing, viewing, representing, speaking, and listening. So this is the new ELA curriculum, and it focuses on elements and practices. The components are sense making, system, exploration and design, as well as power and agency. It also follows the 6 ELA strands. So first I'm going to talk about the early years bins. These pictures are just a few examples of some of the material included in the kits. So there's 10 thematic kits. There's zoo animals, emotions, community helpers, clothing, body parts, hygiene, numbers, shapes, letters, colors, transportation, food and nutrition, farm animals, seasons and weather, as well as ocean animals. So these bins were created as a starter theme kit. Many schools have added lessons, activities, and materials to enlarge each theme, and we really encourage you to continue to enlarge these themes. So reading in the early years, each thematic bin has books included and can be used in various methods, as seen below. So use books in conjunction with other material within the theme, such as puzzles, matching games, puppets, and so on, because this will really enrich the students' experience with reading and with what you're teaching. We also want to gradually release the responsibility when it comes to reading. So at the beginning, students are going to be more dependent. So at this stage, we're going to demonstrate. So the teacher models, explains, demonstrates, and thinks aloud. Next is shared practice. So the teacher explicitly teaches and teacher and student practice together. Then there's guided practice. So students practice the strategy with coaching from the teacher. And then we move into independent practice. So the students apply practice on their own and they receive feedback. And then the next step is the students transfer listening to a new situation. And that is our ultimate goal. We want to move these students from being dependent on us all the way to independence. Vocabulary component. Vocabulary is a building block of language. An increase in the student's vocabulary will in turn increase their expressive and receptive language. So expressive language, that's what they say. It's their ability to express their wants and needs. So for example, their ability to answer the question. And receptive language, that's what they understand. So for example, being able to understand what the question is. Writing. Using letter identification and vocabulary from stories within the theme in combination with games and other hands-on material included, such as the A to Z puzzle, everyday alphabet, letter beads, and so on. The majority of the bins have activities that may be used for writing, such as My First Bananagrams. And sometimes you might just have to get creative with some of the material in the kits, but there's always a way. Viewing. Students view the visual text to understand the message by seeking and checking understanding. by making connections, as well as making and confirming predictions. Some material included in the bins are Exploring the Seasons book and How Do You Feel? And again, that's just a few examples. Representing. Students work in a small group and draw pictures or diagrams to represent what the story, word, item, or concept means to them. Students use lines, shapes, colors, symbols, and words to show their interpretations of the story, word, item, or concept. Examples are to play with puppets to retell stories, draw a picture of a read aloud, or what a word means to them, and so on. Some material included are puppets on a stick, which are in the ocean theme. There's animal hand puppets, emotion pebbles, as well as pretend and play magnetic healthy food. Speaking and listening. Students being able to express their message and ideas, as well as listen to information presented orally. Some material included are various listening lotto games and the interactive wall. So with the interactive wall, students can listen to, use, and practice vocabulary words in English and or First Nations language once recorded on the interactive wall. So here I will show you some videos on how to play some of these games. So this first video is Bananagrams.
Welcome to the My First Bananagrams edition of our How to Play video series. Our crazy little family at Bananagrams Inc. aspires to help people everywhere rediscover a love for tabletop games.
We strive to produce games with super simple rules, extraordinary packaging, and high-quality tactile components that you won't want to put down.
My First Bananagrams comes in a green banana pouch, perfect for ripening the minds of pre-readers and early learners.
What's great about this game is that it uses lowercase letters, and we worked with educators to ensure it aligns with reading curriculum.
Also included are combo letter word building tiles, which are the first step in word creation.
With multiple mini-games, My First Bananagrams creates a step-by-step play progression towards ultimately learning how to play a full game of Bananagrams.
The gameplay has been simplified from the classic game. You start by placing all 80 single letter tiles face down in the center of the table.
These form the bunch.
Each player takes 15 single letter tiles. The object of the game is to be the first to use all your letters in a connected word grid without a spelling mistake, proper noun, or abbreviation.
To start, call out split. Everyone simultaneously turns their tiles face up and races to rearrange them in their own intersecting word grid.
Anyone can call out swap at any time and exchange one letter for another from the bunch.
When all your letters are used up, call out bananas.
Play stops and everyone inspects your completed grid. If correct, you are the top banana, and if there are some mistakes, call out spotted banana. And play resumes for everyone until someone completes a correct grid and becomes the top banana.
Advanced play includes the combo letter tiles, which can only be used horizontally but can be built upon vertically.
There are also multiple ways to use the tiles to progress your preschooler in their reading skills,
like spelling your name, placing the ABCs in order, and letter matching.
The instructions showcase 11 different progression exercises, and on our website you can find multiple downloadable worksheets for your early reader too.
Once the gameplay of My First Bananagrams becomes too easy, you're ready to level up to our classic game.
Alright, so that was the first video. Next, it is a demonstration of the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Now this is done with older students, but it can be easily adapted to work with younger kids.
In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. started to look for some food. Oh, hungry, hungry. Yum, 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 yum. On Monday, he ate through one apple.
One apple.
Yum, 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 yum. But he was still hungry. On Tuesday, he ate through 2 pears.
One pear. 2 pears.
Yum, 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 yum. But he was still hungry. On Wednesday, he ate through 3 plums. Where's my plums?
1 plum.
Very good.
2 plums.
Very good.
3 plums.
Very good. What did he say? Yum, 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 yum. But he was still hungry. On Thursday, he ate through 4 strawberries.
1 strawberry.
Good.
2 strawberries.
Very good.
3 strawberries.
Very good.
4 strawberries.
Whoa, what did he say? Yum, 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 yum. But he was still hungry. On Friday, he ate through 5 oranges. Where are my oranges?
1 orange.
Very good.
2 orange.
Oranges. Okay, good.
3
Oranges. 4
4
oranges. 5 oranges. What did he say? Yum, 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 yum. But he was still hungry. On Saturday, now listen, he ate through 1 piece of chocolate cake. Come here, chocolate cake.
1 chocolate cake.
Very good. Yum, 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 yum. 1 ice cream cone.
1 ice cream cone.
Yum, 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 yum. 1 pickle.
1 pickle.
Yum, 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 yum. 1 slice of Swiss cheese.
1 slice of Swiss cheese.
Yum, 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 yum. 1 slice of salami.
1 salami.
Yum, 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 yum. 1 lollipop.
1 lollipop.
Very good. Yum, 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 yum. 1 piece of cherry pie.
1 piece of cherry pie.
Very good. Yum, 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 yum. 1 sausage.
1 sausage.
Oh, my hand very painful. Yum, 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 yum. 1 cupcake.
1
Yum,
cupcake.
yum, 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 yum. 1 slice of, oh, do I have a sausage? I have. 1 slice of watermelon.
1 slice of watermelon.
Well done. Yum, 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 yum. That night, what do you think happened? He had a stomachache. The next day was after Saturday? Sunday. The caterpillar ate through 1 nice green leaf. Where's my green leaf?
1 nice green.
Vegetarian already, yeah? Yum, 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 yum. And after that, he felt much better. Now, he wasn't a hungry caterpillar anymore, and he wasn't a little caterpillar anymore. He was a big, fat caterpillar. So what did he do? Well, this is what he did. He built himself a small house. What do you call the house? Very good. He built himself a small house called a cocoon. And he stayed inside for more than 2 weeks. Then he nibbled his way out of the cocoon, pushed his way out, and what do you think he became?
Lava.
Huh? Lava. Quite something a little bit more.
Butterfly.
Do you think it's a butterfly?
Yeah.
Shall we find out if it's a butterfly?
Magic.
Woo! a beautiful butterfly. The end. Well done.
Awesome. So that was that video. Next we have a video. It's storytelling and how to use props to bring stories to life. And I should mention that if you have any trouble with any of these videos, there will be a handout with all of the links. But let's play this one.
Hi there, it's Noreen, and today I am excited to share some ideas with you about storytelling and what kinds of prop to use and how to set them up. So you'll be able to use those props and those ideas for the stories in Sophie and Max, for the stories you make up on your own, or even to bring your child's favorite storybook to life. So for example, where is it? This week in my classes, we did the story of the Owl Babies, and instead of reading the book, I put up this little setup, and we'll get back to that in a moment later, and just use the set to tell the story, and it's a very different experience. So know that you can use this in many different ways. But before I share some ideas with you and some props that I have, I want to remind you of one thing, and that is to not aim for perfection. So you're already giving your child a wonderful experience by sharing stories with them in whatever format. Adding props to that experience is just like adding another layer. You're not starting from scratch in trying to create this whole new storytelling experience. That can seem a little bit overwhelming, especially when you've seen, professionals that are just excellent at telling stories. I'm not even there yet. So definitely just remember to you're adding a layer, and it doesn't take much. So just take it one step at a time and don't overwhelm yourself. And this is coming from a perfectionist, so I have to remind myself of that all the time as well. All right, now to get started. Our first layer will always be, or most likely be, the main character. And for the main character, you have lots and lots of possibilities. So I'm going to show you a few that I use. One of my favorite ones for, people in the story are peg dolls. And I have two here that I use a lot in my classes, especially with the younger kids. They are Rimple and Dimple, and they come to class a lot, and the kids really love them and get excited when they come out. And as you can see, they're just simple peg people. Painted them a little bit, an acorn cap for a hat, and that's all you need. And here we even have he's often the farmer, but he just has an acorn cap, and that's all you need. Let's see, what other props do we have? Oh, so for animals, I have these lovely wooden animals. I believe they are Ostheimer. And then we also have these Schleich animals, which are wonderful. My kids have quite a few of those. And they're great for playing, and they're great for storytelling. So whatever animals your child might have, in whatever form, or dinosaurs, those can all become part of the story. And when I don't have the right animals, I just make little puppets. So these are little finger puppets that I just found online. They were just a printout, and I glued them together, and they were ready to go. Let's put you in front too. And let's see what else. Or stuffed animals. Here's a little butterfly for my kids. It's a little finger puppet as well, but a lot of times I also use small stuffed animals and make them part of the story. Or here's a fairy from my daughter. So they sometimes show up. And these two. Sometimes the main character is not an animal or a person, but it's a pumpkin, like in our Impatient Pumpkin story in the October issue. So this is one I knitted. If you don't need to knit, don't know how to knit, not a problem. You can just use a paper printout and incorporate that in the story. Then we also have Sally the snail. I forget what issue she's from. I think it's from the spring. And then this guy I knitted the other day, he's supposed to be a woolly bear, caterpillar, and you know, I was going to just draw him on a piece of paper, but then I thought, oh, it's be fun to knit and easy enough, and the kids were going crazy over this little guy. So if you know how to knit, sometimes it's very easy to create little characters. Now, if you don't have any of these kinds of props, you can always go online or draw it yourself. Just make a picture of it. There's only one challenge with the picture is that, you know, once you cut it out, it doesn't stand up. Sometimes it's okay to lay it down, but if you want it to stand up, what you can do is you can take any kind of block, or I've used corks before, and just tape your character onto it. And then you can move it around, just like any other character. So that's always handy when you don't have the exact animal or person or pumpkin. Okay, so that's for characters. I'm going to move these guys over so we can make room for other things. Once you have the characters in place, you can start to think about, you know, what else might be part of the story. Such as, a lot of times our stories take place on a farm, so we have a barn, which I don't have right now, but we have a simple wooden barn. We also have these simple houses. Again, you probably have your own set of houses or just blocks. These I use a lot, and they can really become almost anything. You know, they can be a simple house. It can be a bed. It can be a wall. We have smaller ones too. These I love. I use them often for fences or small walls. They are just little planks from IKEA. They were like 100 in a box and for $10. So this is a great resource. They're great for playing, but also great for setting up little sceneries and little sets. So let's see, what else? Oh, my kids have these castle blocks. I don't use them too often when I tell stories in my classes, but my kids love playing with them and just make up stories as they build their castles, which is always fun to listen into. And then we also have these blocks which are cut from branches. This is from one of our big sycamore trees. And they are very versatile too. Sometimes I stack them up and just say, that's a big tree, or I'll put one of the small pine trees, where is it? Small pine trees on top of it, and it becomes a tall pine tree. Or they are tables, or mountains. So for mountains, or little hills, I simply place them under the fabric I'm using, and it elevates it, and suddenly you have a mountain. And we'll get to fabrics in a second. But I wanted to see, and we also have these rainbows, which again are so versatile. Let me think, what do I use them for? So sometimes I stack them up like that and drape fabric over it, and it becomes a little cave. Or we also use this lovely cave here, which is in the January issue. And again, I've used it for so many stories. It's so simple. And I really love using props that we can make ourselves, because then we can really do it the way we like. But back to these for a second. If you look back here, pull this a little bit closer, and you see the owl nest? It is simply one of these draped in some fabric that I had. So once you really get going with it, suddenly the ideas start coming, and it's really fun to create all these little scenes. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? Let me talk a little bit more about trees, because a lot of our stories take place in nature. And so we often have trees or bushes, and when I can, I try to use real props. So a branch from a tree with some leaves on it, or some kind of little plant, or a flower, or some grass. Or in the owl story, I have this piece of ivy that I just plucked from our backyard. But when you don't have real trees, you can also make your own. So I already showed you these little wooden ones, which I really like. They're adorable for playing, and they always go well in the stories. But we also have these from, is it the September issue, I believe, when we're talking about apples. So we use these little trees. We have a few different ones that I use in the stories. And then the other day, my son was up in his room very quietly working away, and then he showed me his apple tree, and he was so proud of it. And now he's been playing with it almost every day and telling little stories about the apple and how the apple tree just wanted a star of its own. So it's, again, when you use simple things that you can make yourself, it makes it so much easier for the kids to start their own projects and bring their own ideas to life. Okay, trees. Oh, and another tree we often use are pine cones. Now sometimes they stand up on their own pretty well. If they don't, I've also put them in little terracotta pots, or we've glued them onto little wooden discs if we wanted to have them around for longer.
So that's the gist of this one. It's longer if you want to watch the video for some more ideas. She's got great ideas, but using what you have and just be creative with it is really key. But I encourage you to watch what else she has. The next video, this is a great video of how this teacher is reading a story aloud to her classroom virtually, and then she has an assignment for them afterwards.
I don't know if you knew this, but one of Mrs. Youssef's favorite animals are pigs. I just think they're cute. I know they're very intelligent and smart animals, and piglets are adorable. They're so cute, and they are important farm animals. And I wanted to read you a story today, and in your distance learning packet, I will show this to you later, you actually have a pig puppet to make, a very simple but fun one. So first let's read this story. It's called 10 Pigs, an Epic Bath Adventure. 10 Pigs by Derek Anderson. Must be illustrated by Derek Anderson too, and the pictures in here are really cute, as you can see on the decoration page. There are little rubber duckies that are looking like they're swimming in bubbles. This is a really cute story. And I see a little piglet. He's about to walk up the stairs. He looks so happy. He's going up the stairs to the bath. Do you like taking baths? Especially with bubble bath? Oh, what do you see? It says 1 pig, and 1 pig looks very happy to be getting into 1 bath. 1 very happy pig. Look, and he's closing his eyes and just feeling like he's enjoying the warmth of the bath wrapped around him. Can you tell by his expression in the illustration how much he's enjoying this bath? This bathtub is perfect for just me and you. But along comes pig number 2. Pig number 2 looks like has a different idea of what he's going to do in the bathtub. 2, this tub is too small for a duck, 2 pigs, and a bouncing ball. Make way for me, squeals number 3. This is a bath, not the deep blue sea. His expression doesn't look quite so happy anymore, does it? He looks very surprised. This tub is too full. That's it. No more. Oh no. Here comes pig number 4. And here she comes with her inner tube on. And she's dressed ready with a matching bow and swimsuit. Arr, says 5, and 6 gives a toot. 7 launches his boat with a sailor salute. Do you think any more can fit in here? It doesn't look very comfortable anymore. Pig 8 has a castle. Number 9 barely fits. Now there is absolutely nowhere left to sit. And 10? Number 10 wiggles and squeezes and surfs his way in. I don't know how number 10 is going to fit, but I think he's made his way in there. Let's see. Oh, do you see the expression of pig number 1? He does not look very happy anymore. 10 pigs, 10. What? Wait. What? What is that? You can see their expressions are all now focused on something coming. What do you think is coming? Could it be number 11? Could it be another one? Let's see. What is that? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Run, run. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Where's 1? All of them have run out, but where is 1? Uh-oh, no pigs, none. Where did they all run to? What was so horrible? They all left. 1 wolf. One very happy. You'll be surprised. Pig. Did he think of what he should do to get the other pigs out of his tub? Of course. He had a great idea. He got all the other pigs out by putting on a wolf costume, and now he could enjoy the bubble just the way he imagined. While we're staying at home, that might be a good idea, is to take a nice warm bath and play with toys in the bathtub. That's always something nice we can do while we're at home. In your packet, you did have a brown paper bag, and you had a sheet of paper that looked like this. And if you've gotten so good at cutting nicely that I'm sure that when you cut out those pieces, you will end up with what we have learned in kindergarten to be a perfect magic scrap, which means when you cut so you end up with only one piece of paper that goes into the garbage instead of a lot of little scraps of paper, which makes a mess. But all of you in the class are so good at cutting nicely now. And what you're going to do is you're going to take all the pieces and you're going to put them on the paper bag. Make sure to put the arms in between the folds. Make sure to put the little pig snout right on the flap, and then glue the ears right in the back along with this poem. And this poem is a poem that you guys have probably heard that your family said to you when you were babies. It's a baby pig poem called This Little Piggy, and you've got all the words back here if you don't happen to know it. And oh, I also drew a little tail on the pig, so make sure to put get your crayons in your packet and put 2 little nostrils on his snout, 2 little piggy eyes, and a curly little piggy tail, and your poem on the back, and then put it on your hand and you can say the poem This Little Piggy. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. And this little piggy went wee, 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 all the way home. It's a very fun little puppet you can make, and I'm sure your family will love to see you doing this puppet show for them. So until the next farm story, friends, goodbye. See you later. And I'm going to go wee, 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 wee all the way home myself.
Awesome. All right, so this next video is an example of a listening lotto game. This is the farm game, but in those kits there are a bunch of different listening lotto games.
Hi everybody. This is going to be a video of a game that we're going to play. So in your take-home bag, you should have a game card. One game card that looks like this. Ooh, I'll get out my second one because I know we both have the same ones. We all have the same ones. So I have one game card that looks like this and one game card that looks like this. Okay, so I'm going to pick one of my game cards to start. I'm going to pick this one. You can pick whichever one you want. And then I'm going to put my game card on the table. And now listening lotto, we have to cover up the animals with something. So we're going to listen for some sounds. And if I hear a chicken sound, I'm going to put my little circle on chicken. Maybe you're going to use a Lego to cover up, or maybe you're going to use money to cover up. But I want to have something that covers up the picture, so I know that I already heard that sound. Okay, I'm going to tip my computer screen down so you can see my game card. And then I'm ready to play the Listening Lotto CD.
Welcome to Listening Lotto, Sounds on the Farm. If you're ready to play, you should have a game board in front of you, 8 game markers, and you should be ready to listen very carefully. Pretend that you are visiting a farm. You will hear many different farm sounds. When you hear a sound that matches one of the pictures on your game board, place a game marker on that picture. When you hear this sound, get ready to listen again. I wonder who will be the first person to have placed a marker on all 8 of their game board pictures. Are you ready? Let's listen and play. Sounds on the Farm.
Okay, did you hear it? That was a chicken. If you have the chicken on your board, cover it up. Now I know that's a dog. I don't have a dog on my board, so now I listen for the next one. All right, the next sounds, I'm not going to stop the CD because I bet you already know how to play. Let's see what happens. Donkey. Oh, those were bumblebees. Those sound like ducks or geese. Do you have a cat? Ooh, the rooster. Tractor. Oh. I think that's the donkey. And the other one must have been the horse. I have them both, donkey and horse.
Okay, so I hope you guys get the idea of this. If you want to watch the full video, again, refer to the handout that will have all of the links to this. This next video, it's that interactive wall, so it'll show you how to use it and a little bit of information about it.
The interactive wall is a pocket chart holding up to 30 pictures or pieces of information, each of which can be recorded to separately. Set the button to record, press the green dot by the correct pocket to record a message.
There's a spaceman.
Set the switch to play and the button plays back the message.
There's a spaceman.
Recorded messages can each be up to 10 seconds in length, allowing for all kinds of wonderful possibilities. All the children in the class can appear and each say something interesting about themselves. There are enough pockets for all the letters of the alphabet and for phonic work. For literacy, important words can be displayed, and in science topic work, background facts can be displayed about anything being studied. In numeracy and in number work, the wall is perfect to identify shapes, solve problems, and test their knowledge of times tables. With literally hundreds of uses, the interactive wall is a must for all settings.
So as you can kind of see in that short video, it's very versatile, which is fantastic. All right. So now we're going to move into the high school language and literacy bins. And again, here's just some of the material that's included in the bin. So there's an overlap of practices and strands. Many of the activities suggested within the high school bin will cross many of the 6 strands of literacy, which again are reading, writing, viewing, listening, speaking, and representing. Activities may also align with the practices as outlined in the new ELA curriculum, which are language as sense-making, language as a system, language as explorations and design, as well as language as power and agency. So the high school bins, there's craft supplies as well as games, and the games are Bananagrams, Tip Tower, Picture Charades, Pickles to Penguins, Scattergories, Family Charades, Headbands, Rory Story Cubes, and Pictionary. So when I talk about the games, I will give ideas on how you can play it in small groups or how you can do it remotely. I'll actually give both recommendations. So for craft supplies, read a short story, show a video, and students may create a puppet, illustration, or sculpt it to identify a character, retell a story, change the ending, or use their own music to create and present a performance to the class. Family charades and game picture. So in small groups or remotely, students could identify and act out a scene, character, or setting from a story, movie, and so on as taught in a lesson. The students could create their own card to act out, or the teacher could email or contact the students with what they need to act out for the rest of the class or give some options. And then the class would then guess the scene, character, setting, and so on. So this can be done in small groups of 3 students, or you could do it in a larger class, such as the entire class if you wanted. Headbands. So in small groups, sit in a circle with a deck of pictures or words in the middle and take turns holding a picture or word on your forehead and asking yes/no questions until you've guessed the card. Now, if you're doing this remotely, the students could have their own deck of cards with them, and when it's their turn to hold the card to their forehead, they have to close their eyes so they can't see themselves on the screen. Or another option for remotely is the person who's guessing can close his or her eyes for a brief moment, and then the teacher shows the class the card, and then once the rest of the class has seen the card, the person guessing can open up their eyes and then continue asking and answering questions. So variation, or a couple of variations to this game is students can formulate their own words or pictures. So you could use this for a certain class if you wanted, or certain types of vocabulary words. And then another variation is rather than having the person guessing ask yes/no questions, the other students can actually describe or give hints to the individual guessing. For Pictionary, so in small groups or remotely, the teacher reads a short poem, students take turns choosing the word from the poem and illustrate it while other students guess which word they're drawing. and make sure each student gets an opportunity to draw a word. The teacher could ask the student to read the poem before the class, choose a word, and then illustrate the word. And as a group, the teacher then could reread the poem and ask the students to share their illustration, and students would then take turns guessing what the word depicted was. So variation is the teacher could select a story, song, or video instead of a poem, and then have the students complete the same drawing activity. So tip-top tower. And small groups, you can have the students divide into groups of 4 and then write monthly vocabulary or vocabulary of choice on strips of tape and secure to the tip tower blocks. Follow the tip tower game instructions and have students read vocabulary words as they place the block on top of the tower. If appropriate, you can have the students or group of students come up with a sentence using each word. If you're doing this remotely, it's the same idea as the small groups, but instead only the teacher has the tip tower game, and then the students have to explain or describe which piece to pull and where to place it. So variation, you can use story structure terms on the blocks instead of vocabulary. So for example, the block says setting, so the person who pulls the block has to give a complete description of the story setting. This can be done for conflict, characters, resolution, climax, action, and so on. You can also use multiples of each story structure term. So then if a second setting block was selected, the student would add new setting information. Bananagrams. So in small groups, you can divide students into groups of 3 or 4 and then follow the instructions as indicated in the instruction booklet. If you're doing this remotely, the teacher chooses the letters to be displayed, and students must list as many words as possible from the letters that they see. Some variations are you can use identified vocabulary words. Students must use those words from the list when they're playing the game. Or you can do student choice. So identify words from a reading to use during the game. For example, after reading a novel together, the students use the keywords to play the game. Keywords from that novel, to play the game. Pickles to penguins. So you can do this in small groups or remotely. So the teacher pulls 2 cards and the students need to explain what the connections are between the two. It can be similarities between the item or even the spelling of the picture shown. So for example, if you have pickles and you have popcorn, both have the letter P. That's how they'd be similar. A couple variations or possible variations are you can pull 1 card and ask the students to list a certain number of words that begin or end with the same letter. Or you can ask the students how the 2 pictures are different. Scattergories. So in small groups, you can divide into groups of 4 and follow the instructions as indicated in the instruction booklet. If you're doing this remotely, the teacher can roll the dice to determine the letter for the category and then continue to follow instructions as indicated in the instruction booklet. I believe there's also a video I'll show later that actually has 2 people playing this game remotely. So variation is you could create your own questions related to a topic or book used in the classroom. So for example, after reading a short story or chapter from a novel, roll the die and have students write down a word, starting with that letter which relates to the content of that story. For example, if you rolled the letter R, then first question would be a word that describes the main character using the letter R. Another example is question 2 would be a word that describes the conflict using the letter T, if the letter T was the letter rolled. Rory's story cubes. So in small groups, you have students divide into groups of 3 and 4, and each group has 1 dice. So start off by introducing the story with Once Upon a Time. The first student will select an image from their dice to begin the story. The next student will build on the story with a picture from their dice, and so on. If you're doing these virtually or remotely, The teacher rolls the dice and shows the students, and the students can illustrate a storyline to the picture shown. They can write a sentence, and they can write a story, which I'll show you a template on that. Some variations. So students don't necessarily need to follow the seating arrangement in the group. They can pull a new die from the pile once they've contributed to the group story. You could read a story aloud to the class and then divide the students into groups and give each student a die. The students will identify a picture on their die that relates in some way to the story that was read. Another option is students can choose 3 pictures from the dice to help write a story. And I'll show you a template on that as well. So here's some more variations that other teachers have provided us. So you can use the Rory Story Cubes for writing prompts. So for example, you can have one idea, use one picture per paragraph. Vocabulary stretch. So for example, if you roll a moon, you find out the ways to describe that picture. For creative writing, to help with ideas flowing. Use them for the language. So how do you say the word in a First Nation language? You can focus on parts of speech. You can use it to help come up with other words that start with the same letter. You can use it for imagery. You can say the word and the next word has to start with the same letter. You can have each student come up with a story using the same dice rolled, and then you can compare the stories. So here is an example of what the different sides of the dice might look like. So here is the first template that I was talking about, where you can draw a picture, you can write a sentence, and that kind of thing. And this one is the template where you pick 3 pictures on the dice and then you write a story. It can be used in different ways as well. So the vocabulary component. So at this age, we want to expand students' vocabulary in a fun and motivating context. And we want to build problem-solving skills and social skills, as well as discuss non-academic language in an academic setting. So I have some more videos to show. So this first video is going to be on Rory Story Cubes. The second one will be Scattergories, and then Pickles to Penguins, and then I have some more videos as well.
Hi, this is Mike Mitrovich. Welcome to LegacyOfFun.com. If you haven't already seen my video review of Rory's Story Cubes, please take a look at that. This is a simple demo of me trying to create a simple story with these cubes. Thanks. Once upon a time, there was an alien named Bob. And every day, Bob would take a nap at noon. Until one day, his nap was interrupted by the bleating of an angry sheep. Because of that, Bob the alien awoke, wondering where he was and who he was. He looked around, and he noticed flowers that didn't seem familiar. He noticed fruit growing on trees. They didn't seem familiar. Bob looked at his own hand, front and back, and even that did not look familiar. So Bob began to walk and walk and walk until he came to a bridge. And he crossed that bridge over unfamiliar water. And as he did, he saw in the horizon, at last, something that looked familiar. Bob was home.
Alright, so that was an example of Rory's Story Cubes. So next is a video playing Scattergories, and this is a great example because it's actually showing these two playing the game remotely.
I'll be learning how to play Scattergories.
Scattergories! Yes, the long distance version. So this version is so you can play with your friends who you can FaceTime from anywhere. We're using just good old FaceTime right here, and we're going to be playing Scattergories over it. So, yeah, we'll teach you how to play, and then we'll play 2 rounds for you guys to enjoy. Okay, let's get started. So,
For this, you need a pencil.
yes,
Not included.
open. I'm going to be using a pen, but it really doesn't matter. So, pink pen. We already chose both lists that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing list 5 and list 6. And another very cool thing about Scattergories is if one person has Scattergories, like everything in the box, and one other person doesn't, then you can just read the topics so that they can write it down on a piece of paper. Like so, which we did originally. And they have 2 rounds or 3 rounds, however many you want to play. They just wrote down the topics down here, and then 12 categories, and then you roll, and you get started. But we both have Scattergories, so we're going to use the list and the charts that come along with the game. Okay, let's get started.
So I'm using this nice little folder thing.
Yes. And I'm just going to be doing it openly because he can't see anything that I'm writing. And then we got our little timer here. And we got our 20-sided die with a bunch of letters on it. And yeah, okay. So we put the rest of the box to the side because we have everything we need. Alrighty. So let's roll. Let's see what letter it's going to be. D. Ooh.
Alright, are we starting with 5 or 6?
We'll start with 5, and then we'll go to 6.
Alright.
So each of these charts just look like this. They have numbers 1 through 12, and the list has 1 through 12, and each of them are little categories. And we'll just show you the list so you can tell what we are writing down here. Yes. Okay. Now, let's get started. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. D. Okay, I mean, I guess that could count. Okay, and that's time.
Now we
Okay.
have 3.
Really? I got 10. Okay, let's go. Number 1, what'd you get?
Dinner sandwich.
I got deli sandwich, so I mean, I guess it'll work, right?
Sure.
Okay, number 2. This one's a little out there, but it's dash places.
No.
No?
I said drive.
Fine, I'll cross that one out.
You need your feet to drive.
Yes, but you need your feet to dash places.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, I have our president, Donald Trump.
Oh my god. Wow.
Number 4, I don't have anything because I don't know any school subjects.
I got nothing.
5, I have your dog being sick.
How would that not? What?
It starts with a D, dog being sick.
I know, but that's not an excuse to. Okay, whatever.
Fine, I'll cross it out. Okay, number 6,
I was saying if you saw her.
our little special guest star here. We have double chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Ha ha ha. Number 7, we have dodgeball. Yeah, okay, cool. 8, for our TV star, we have featuring Donald Duck. Hey!
Danny DeVito.
Oh no! So we each got 2. So each got 2 points on that one. Oh, say hi to the camera, Sonny.
Oh, no, we're not paying attention.
And then number 9, I got dogs.
Dog.
Dogs. Yes. And then 10, I have nothing because I don't know any countries. 11, diamonds. Ha ha ha. And 12, I don't have anything. Okay.
I'm the smartest person in the world.
And we move on to round number 2 with list 6.
How many points do you have?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I have 4, so you have double my points.
Yes.
Bad this round.
Okay, ready? And our letter is going to be O. Oh, O's a hard one. Okay, and list 6 looks like this, just so you guys can know our categories right here. And yeah, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. names. Oh. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Okay, finish up what you're writing. Ready?
Done.
Okay, number
All right,
1.
these- 1, Oliver.
I have Oscar. I was kind of thinking of Oscar the Grouch right there. But anyways, 2, nothing.
The observable universe, because you can see the observable universe, and that's in the sky.
That's stretching it a tiny bit, but fine. Oh well. I'll make it work. 3.
This was, if you thought that was a stretch, this is really stretch.
Oh no. 3.
What'd you put?
Nothing.
Orchids, because you put flower things next to the windows.
I say no.
No, but you know the flower garden, the hanging flowers
Mm-hmm.
that you can put next to your window. This is your window, and then this is like your little flower bed right here.
Oh.
Orchids in those.
Fine. Okay, 4, I have Oakland University.
Oh, I did Oregon.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. 5, nothing.
7.
6, nothing. 7, I'm not sure if they actually have spots, but orangutans?
No, those are just salad.
Darn!
That was a good one.
It was a guess. I wanted to use it for something that I couldn't remember. I should have done it for things that smell bad. Nothing for 8, nothing for 9.
8, I have overcooked food.
8. Overcooked food for things that smell bad. Okay. It'll count. 9, I have nothing.
10, nothing.
10 ounces. Which I almost just like spoiled. Okay, 11. 11, I have ovals.
Same.
No!
Alright.
And 12, nothing.
Optical illusions.
Boo! I only got 3 for that one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh no. Okay, so my grand total comes to 11 points.
I say we do another one, because I'm definitely not down by 1.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
Okay, well, there's an example of how you would play Scattergories. So when they were playing, they were crossing out anything that they had the same answer for, because then the points just don't count. Next would be Pickles to Penguins.
So on today's top product of the week, I want to share with you this ridiculously silly game, and it's called Pickles to Penguins. So as you can see by the cards, they're ridiculous. You know, pie, wig, horse, flip the horse over, and we have match, race car, microwave. These cards under no circumstance belong together, and that's where it becomes tricky. Everybody gets a bunch of cards. I believe it's 4. We just make this up as we go, actually. So let's just say 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. We're all set up to play. Now in the middle you will place a card. It's a nail. Now the key of the game is to get rid of your cards by placing it and figuring out how they come together. For example, what can go with the nail? Well, I know the nail is metals and the microwave is made of metal. So I just got rid of one of my cards. Now a microwave is hot just like the match is hot. And I may choose, the match is yellow like the canary is yellow. And the alligator is an animal just like the canary is an animal. Or part of the animal kingdom, anyway. But in addition to this game, it's fun, it's cute, it's silly. I do love the fact how it can be used for speech. There's part of speech programs to help kids with their speech and language. For example, just give them 2 random cards and let them make a sentence. I saw a lady putting on lipstick while watching a commercial on the television. Or you can give them a bunch of cards and have them categorize it. For example, they may go through it and say, oh, look, here, watermelon is a fruit, a banana is a fruit, and we can make fruit salad and store it in the frying pan. This game is it's silly, it's fun. You could use it for the silliness. You could use it to, some of the things that we do actually in conversational speech is we'll take something that the child is familiar with. This is before children can actually make full sentences, and we'll say, oh, look, bottle. So they're able to tell me what it is. Then they'll say something simple, yellow, and then they'll put it together, yellow bottle. So from playing this game to using it as part of, a speech therapy program, this game has basically unlimited learning and fun potential. The kids love the cards. Some of them are simple, some of them are more complex. I would say almost all of these cards the kids are familiar with, so it's really easy for them just to have fun. And what child doesn't want to have fun while improving their speech, and language skills? So this game is a huge winner in our book. I'm very grateful to have received it as a gift, and my girls just love playing it.
So that had great examples of how you can use it in the speech and language program, but that's where your SLP would help out with when they're working with the EA. But there's some great examples in there on how you could adapt this for middle years by asking them to categorize and different things like that. So next is an example of charades. This isn't the actual game, but this is an example of how you would play charades.
We're back with Steve Carell. All right, we're going to play charades, and we don't have no rules, but we're going to walk over here, and it's all things related to summer. So you'll be on the other side of the podium. Should I go first? Is that right? All right. We have a red mark to stand on.
Okay.
And things related to summer.
So I'll just say my words.
No, you listen. You don't do anything. You just. Oh, all right. How many? What do we have? Time on the clock? 45 seconds. Ready? Go.
Swing.
Yes.
Suntan lotion, sunscreen.
Yep.
Baseball.
Yes.
Drinking fluid. Drinking fluid with your tail. What's that?
What?
Drinking.
I'm not going to do the first part, but what's that?
Cock-a-doodle-doo. I don't. Rooster drink. Snorkeling. I want to know what this is. Motorcycle, biking.
Jet ski. Cocktail. I was not going to do the first part.
Oh.
All right.
You were very good.
They got cocktail. Everyone knew it was a cocktail. All of my drinking friends out there knew it was a cocktail. Now they're thirsty. All right.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Bikini. The ice cream cone. No. Oh.
Come on!
Corn dog?
Not a
cotton.
Not a corn dog.
Well, why would
Pass.
Frisbee. Uh-oh.
What? Wait, I'm going this way, right? Oh, it was a popsicle. See, and I even did. It was dripping on my hand.
It was dripping. I know. Yeah. All right. So
that was the worst. That was the worst.
What was that?
That was a boat. I was in a rowboat.
That was a. I think you have to kind of go like that to get them. You have to get the oars out of the water. You don't just do that.
Oh, is that how you? Oh yeah. You would have got it if I did that.
Okay, there's an example of charades. Next, this is a video on playing something that is very similar to charades, but instead of acting out the words, this is like telephone. Telephone. Instead of saying the words down the line, you're actually going to act it out.
Okay. All right, so let's have Matthew then start.
Go back. Oh my god. Oh no, it's I don't know. Wait, what was the second? Ah, crap, I forgot it.
No talking.
Really?
Okay, so what do you think it is? Okay. And let me get a picture of what the word was, or the sentence was. Okay.
So it's a little bit different at the end, and that's honestly such a fun game to play with both adults and kids. Alright, now this is Bananagrams, but this is the full version of Bananagrams instead of the My First Bananagrams.
Welcome to the Bananagrams edition of our How to Play video series. Our crazy little family at Bananagrams Inc. aspires to help people everywhere rediscover a love for tabletop games.
We strive to produce games with super simple rules, extraordinary packaging, and high-quality tactile components that you won't want to put down.
This is the perfect game to take anywhere, from the beach to the bar to your classroom.
It makes you feel like you're super smart, but at the same time, there's an element of luck, so it helps to level the playing field.
The pouch is washable, the tiles are super high quality, and we also offer free replacement tiles should you ever lose any.
So, how do you play Bananagrams? Grab a friend, or 7. Place all the tiles face down on the table.
If you have 4 players, you each pick 21 tiles to start. The more people playing, the less tiles you start with. Check your instructions for the correct tile amount.
The rest of the tiles are called the bunch. One player starts the game by shouting split, and everyone turns their tiles over as fast as they can to arrange their own individual crossword grids.
Grids can be broken apart and rearranged at any point throughout the game, so don't stress out if you feel boxed in by your words. You can always fix it.
The first player to use all of their starting tiles shouts peel, and all players, including the player who shouted peel, must take one additional tile from the bunch.
Peeling happens whenever anyone has used all of their tiles. If at any time you have a tile that you just can't seem to find a place for, you can shout dump and trade in the problem tile for 3 fresh new tiles, and hopefully they will fit nicely into your grid.
Or you may get 2 Qs and a Z if the universe hates you.
Everyone continues building their word grids, peeling and dumping tiles until there are less tiles in the bunch than there are players.
At that point, the first player to complete their grid shouts, bananas! Play stops, and all of the other players inspect the potential winner's grid.
If there are any proper nouns or misspelled words, all of their tiles get flipped back over and returned to the bunch. They are a rotten banana and out of the game.
But if their grid was mistake-free, they are crowned top banana and instantly become the envy of all around them.
Now that you know how to play, get wordy and go bananas.
It also comes in an easier-to-see edition. Big Letter Bananagrams features new, larger, bolder, and higher contrast letter tiles.
Designed for low vision players, the bigger tiles aid in easy-to-read gameplay, so players can focus on grabbing that top banana title.
Alright, that's Bananagrams. Next, I just want to show a video on I guess there's 5 different games that you can play on Zoom, just to kind of show you what someone else has done for games and kind of changing it up a little bit.
Currently, a lot of people are using Zoom and online conferencing software to play games, to associate, to have friendships, etc. So in this video, we're going to look at the 5 games that you can play on Zoom, as well as how to share your screen on different devices. The first game is Trivia. You can use a site called polleverywhere.com. There are other sites out there as well that you can use, like Kahoot if you're working with younger people in the game space. But if you do a Google search, you'll find different polling options online. But I chose to use polleverywhere.com. Once you've created a free account on one of the poll services or one of the online game apps, then you can go to Google and look for question ideas. So I use so many different websites to create questions for my Google game. But yes, Google is your friend because a lot of people have questions and answers already out there, and you can pretty much cut and paste them into your poll template. For example, 90s and 2000s trivia. What was the name of Ross and Rachel's child on the TV show Friends? They give you several choices. I'm going to pick Emma, and let's see if Emma is correct. Of course, they let you clear your response if you're not sure. But yes, this is timed, and let's see. Yes, that's correct. So I earned 688 points. So as you will see on this particular platform, this is a timed game. So you can pick 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. But whatever the case is, you can alter it as you create the questions. And it's actually pretty fun. I've done it a couple times on Zoom. So number one is trivia. And of course, you can share the link with everybody and they can play it on their own individual devices. So that's the best part. The second game is 5 Second Guess. 5 Second Guess is an app from the Apple App Store. I'm sure it's on the Play Store as well or something similar. But you can actually remove the ads from this, which is helpful because I've tried to play it with the ads and they pop up after every second or third game. So make sure that you pay the $2 to remove the ads if you want to play it legitimately with a group. With 5 Second Guess, you are given a category and there is a timer at the bottom. So although this can be played as a group, one person has to answer the category before the countdown ends. So yes, you as the person operating it or as a group, you all have to decide whether the answers are true or valid or not, and then you indicate whether they got it right or not. So that's pretty fun. It makes it competitive. And with this app, you would have to be the one to share your screen with the group on Zoom. So I'll put the instructions for that at the end of this video, of course. But yes, you are the one to share the screen. You're the one to manage who answers next, as well as whether they got the answer right or wrong. The third game is online Jeopardy. So if you visit jeopardylabs.com, you can create your own custom Jeopardy game. For example, name that song R&B from the 80s. So I created this around 1980s artist. And this one is basically like a name that tune. So I put in sections of the lyrics from songs and then you have to guess what song it is. And as you see, you can split it into multiple teams. Here I just chose the default, which is 3 teams. With this game, you can share from your laptop or desktop screen, or you can share from your phone. And in this instance, I'm using an iPhone, but at the top, even if you're on a touch device, you can still operate the controls. So as you see, there's a continue, and there's also a space bar. So if you just tap escape, the word escape up there, or the space bar, it will act like it would on a laptop. So that's cool. The fourth game is Charades. So this is an easy one to play on Zoom. All you have to do is go on Google and Google some charades words. So here I just found some easy words like airplane and blank and hammer and book. So they would have to act out these words without talking. And a strategy that you can use to get the words to the individual is they would have to keep, so the person that's actually playing or acting out the words would have to keep their chat window open, and you as the moderator of the game would send the word to them via chat privately. So they will see the words pop up as they act it out. So that's pretty simple, and it's a free game and it's nothing you have to pay for or prepare heavily for either. And the fifth game is Pictionary. Pictionary is another fun game that can be played on Zoom. What you need to do is share your screen, and when you share your screen, you'll see the whiteboard option. I'll show you that in a second. And you can also use plain old paper, so it just depends on how high tech and involved you want to get your audience. And this is another game that you can actually Google the words for. So as you see, I chose some easy Pictionary words, so you can have words like eyeball or glasses, or they can draw high heels, books, etc. So to make this as simple as possible, all you have to do is give the person that is drawing a word via their chat privately, and they will draw the word. You'll have to, as the moderator, make sure to keep up with the time. But as you split up your teams, whoever guesses the item that is drawn, of course, will get the points. So it's really simple. You don't have to go through a whole lot to make this a fun game. We've taken a look at the 4 games that you can play on Zoom. Now let's look at how to share your screen from a mobile device. For this particular example, I'm using an iPhone and a MacBook, but I'm sure the instructions are similar for other devices. So from the Zoom app on the iPhone, at the bottom you'll see share content. So across the bottom you'll see icons. There's a box with an arrow pointing up called share content. Tap on that first. Next, you'll see a screen pop up, and it has several options. In this instance, I'm going to tap on screen. So I'm sharing my screen from my iPhone to the actual desktop or laptop. Then you'll be given several options of what to broadcast. In this instance, I'm broadcasting from the Zoom app. Then all you have to do is start broadcast, and the broadcast will be shared on your actual Zoom app, which will also be shared with the group that's on your Zoom Live. Now looking back on the laptop side, you will have to install a plugin, but it only takes up to like 15 or 10 seconds to download, so that's not a big deal. And then after that, on your iPhone or iPad, you connect to the same Wi-Fi, you tap screen mirroring, and then you choose whatever Zoom that is casting or you want to cast to, which in this instance was my Swarthy Daisy one. Now let's take a look at how to share your screen on a desktop or laptop. Using the Zoom app on a laptop, I'm using again a MacBook for this, but at the bottom you'll see several icons. There's one for share screen. If you click on share screen, you'll have options for sharing different parts of your computer screen that's open. So if you have a web browser open, a game open, etc., those are the things that will be choices for sharing. So the next screen you'll see is the basic choice screen. So you'll have options for the different screens that are open. You can share your desktop, or you can share a whiteboard. You can share an iPhone or iPad via AirPlay, or you can share the iPhone, iPad via cable. And as mentioned earlier, if you have a Chrome browser, etc. open, you can also share those things and they'll pop up as options. But at the very bottom of this menu panel, you'll see share computer sound. So if you want to play a video or have the sound from the game to be audible for your listeners, you can click on that. And then you also have the option for optimize screen share for video clip. For even more control, if you choose the advanced sharing options, you'll see the menu that says how many participants can share at the same time. So as you see, it's one participant can share at a time is an option, or you can choose multiple participants can share simultaneously. So with that, you will need dual monitors, and that's recommended for that feature. Next, you'll see who can actually share. So you can either have only the host, which would be you in this instance, or all participants can share. And then lastly, who can start sharing when someone else is sharing. Either only the host or all participants can be an option. And if you're playing Pictionary or a similar game that involves drawing, here is how you can share your whiteboard. And as was already shared, to access the functions under the basic tab, you'll see whiteboard. Once you select whiteboard, then you'll be able to share your whiteboard screen from your device. In this instance, I am sharing my whiteboard from my laptop to all of the people on Zoom. So as you see, I have drawn something. I think it's like a tree in a house I was trying to draw. But whatever the case, that gives you an example of some of the settings, as you see on the screen, that you need. Most likely you'll just use the draw tool, but they do have some other options for adding different things into your drawing. And here you see me live drawing, and this is being shared live with the Zoom audience. And I am not good at drawing at all. As you can see, I am trying my best. But yes, I am attempting to draw a tree with fruit on it and a house. So it's really fun, it's really interactive, and this is something that you should try for sure. And in addition, because I'm using this on my laptop, I am using a trackpad to draw, but you can also use a mouse as well. Drawing on an iPhone and sharing with the group. In addition, if you are sharing from your iPhone, for example, and you want to draw from your iPhone to share with the group on Zoom, you will need to use an app such as the Notes app, and you can use the draw feature as you see here on the screen. And of course, as you are casting your screen, everything that you'll draw will show up on the Zoom stream for everyone to see. So that's it. There are 5 different games that I've tried that are really fun that you can play on Zoom. If you all have any additional suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like, rate, and subscribe, and make sure to share with your friends so they can also have some options for some fun activities on Zoom.
Well, that was the Zoom. So it kind of gave some good ideas, and I like that she went through different devices and how to share. So we just want you to be creative. So use any of the games however you see fit to promote the language and literacy of your students, whether it's in class or remotely. And I just gave a few examples, but the possibilities are endless. And even though these bins are for early years and high school, the games and materials can be adapted to use with middle year students as well. So that is the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, please let us know. You can email us at speechandliteracy@mfnerc.com. Well, thank you for listening. Bye for now.